Congratulations, you have a job interview. While you are successful in marketing your resume and writing skills, you still have hurdles to clear before you are offered the job. This presentation is designed to give you tips and advice on how to effectively prepare for the crucial job interview. The first step in preparing for your job interview is to make sure you're dressed professionally. Appearance is one of the first things you'll communicate to others at your job interview, so it is very important. Some examples or guidelines for men to follow when selecting their dress include: wear a conservative silk tie, a dark suit, generally black, dark blue, brown, or gray. You can also choose to wear a nice professional jacket with a pair of dark slacks. A white or light colored dress shirt. Make sure both the suit and the shirt are pressed and wrinkle-free. Dark shoes, and socks that match each other as well as the suit. Make sure you are well groomed. This includes clean-shaven or nicely trimmed facial hair, clean short nails, no revealing body piercings or tattoos, and wear minimal cologne. Guidelines for the women include: wear a conservative business suit, generally a neutral dark color such as black or brown. The bottoms can either be slacks or a skirt. Try to avoid the Bermuda short bottoms. If you choose to wear a skirt, make sure it's no shorter than a dollar bill's width from the knee. Also, if you choose to wear a skirt, make sure you wear conservative hosiery. For the shoes, make sure they are closed-toed shoes that match the suit color. They can be either flats or have a small heel, but try to avoid the very high-heeled shoes. Wear minimal makeup and jewelry. No loud colors or extravagant pieces. No dangling earrings or revealing body piercings or tattoos. Avoid powerful perfumes. Make sure you are well groomed. Your nails should be clean and manicured, and if you choose to wear a polish, make sure it's a conservative color. Also, make sure your hair is presentable and styled neatly. If you choose to carry a bag, either carry a small purse or portfolio. For both men and women, I would recommend choosing your clothing the night before the interview. On the big day, you do not want to be stressed about your clothing, so if you have everything set, matching, and pressed the night before, it will relieve some of the pressure on the day of the interview. Now that you understand how to dress professionally, let's look at how to prepare for the actual interview. The first step in preparing is to do your research. Research the position, the company, the location of the position, etc. Research as much as you can. You can do this by reviewing the company's website, the annual reports, or networking with employees of the company or friends that may have information about the company. It is very important to know about the company and the position before going into the interview. It will give you an insight into what the interview is looking for, and it will give you the opportunity to better explain how your skills and goals will be a great match for the position. Also, being prepared will make you look more impressive, and you will be able to ask more thoughtful questions if you understand the company and the position. The second step in preparing for the interview is to practice, practice, practice. Practice common interview questions to your friends, in the mirror, or to the career services staff. Practicing will allow you to feel more comfortable with the different questions, will help you see what you need to improve on, and will give you the chance to come up with excellent phrases and answers. I will review some common interview questions later in this presentation that you can rehearse before your next interview. Third, know where you're going and how to get there. Do not be late. If the interview is an area you are unfamiliar with, try to stop by an earlier date to scope out the location and make a plan for how to get there, how long it will take, and where to park. If the location is too far to drive to ahead of time, look up the directions in the area online. Scope out your directions and find an area where you'll be able to park. Also, make sure to give yourself plenty of time to account for traffic and other unexpected events. Being late could jeopardize your chances of getting a job, so it's very important to make sure you are not late. So far, you have your clothing selected out and researched the company and the position. Now it's time for the big day. Like I stated earlier, be on time. In the interview world, this means early. If your interview is at 10 a.m., then be in the office ready at 9:45 a.m. Stop by the restroom on your way in, and bring a notepad or padfolio and a pen. Also, bring extra copies of your resume. When you arrive, check in with the receptionist so he or she can notify the correct people that you are ready. Make sure that you are very polite to the receptionist and smile. At this point, you will most likely have a seat in the waiting area until you are called in or approached by the interview committee. Now you've been called back or approached by the committee. The interview now begins. The first and one of the most important aspects of the interview is the greeting, so it's crucial to make a great impression. When greeting the interview, make sure you smile, and if you are seated, stand up. Introduce yourself with a firm handshake. If there are multiple interviewers, greet each of them by name with a handshake as well. It is important to remember these names so that you can use them later on in the interview during the follow-up. Be enthusiastic and wait for the interviewer to sit before you take your seat. Now the questions begin. The questions asked during the interview can vary greatly depending on the job duties of the position you are applying for and the interview style of the interviewer. On the next few slides, I have listed a few common interview questions that you can use as a start to practice and rehearse answers. This slide lists some common background questions that may be asked. Tell me about yourself. On this question, don't go into your entire life's history. You can generally focus on stating answers such as where you're from, what your degree is, or what brought you to applying for this job. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Try to focus your strengths on something that would be beneficial to the company and your weakness on something unrelated or something you have improved on. For example, for your weakness, you could answer, being organized wasn't my strong point, but I have implemented a time management system that has helped my organizational skills, so now I'm very organized. Why did you choose your major? Where do you want to be in 5 years or even 10 years? What can you offer us, or why should we hire you? When answering these questions, try to give concrete examples of why your skills and experiences make you a great fit for the company. Try to compare the job description with what you can offer. Be positive and reiterate your interest in the company. This next set of questions are common questions that can be asked regarding your past education and work experience. When answering these questions, try to relate your answers as much as you can back to how it would fit into the job you are applying for. What job-related skills have you developed? How do you think a former supervisor would describe your work? If you do not have past work experience, try to describe how a former instructor or even a former coach would describe your work. Provide an example of working under a deadline. Do you prefer to work as a team or individually? When answering this, try to give a concrete example of when you've worked with a team or when you've worked individually. How does your college education or work experience relate to this job? Here are a few additional tips to keep in mind as you prepare for the interview. Remember, it's okay to be nervous, but try to be yourself as much as possible. When answering questions, do not lie or exaggerate your previous work experience or education. They do call references and we'll find out if you are lying. Also, be aware of your nonverbal communication. Use a firm handshake, maintain eye contact, and avoid nervous habits such as playing with your hair or picking at your nails. And like I stated earlier, try to focus on your strengths as much as possible and focus on how those strengths meet the position description. Finally, have a few questions ready to ask at the end of the interview. It is important to ask questions at the end because it shows that you are interested in the position and that you want to learn more. A few common questions you can ask include, what skills or personal qualities does your company look for, and how do you feel I've measured up to those skills? How much travel is involved with this position? Do you promote from within, or what opportunities are available for career advancement? What do you enjoy most about working with the company? And the most important question, ask what happens next in the interview process. This is an important question that you need to pay attention to so you are aware of when they are planning on contacting the candidates next and when the anticipated start date is. Before asking any question, make sure it's not something the interviewer has already reviewed. Also, avoid asking questions about the salary on the first interview. Wait for a follow-up interview or an offer before you begin negotiating salary. When the interview has concluded, thank each of the interviewers with a handshake and a smile. A day or two following the interview, send each of the interviewers a thank you note. This can be a handwritten note through U.S. mail or an email. Personally, I prefer the handwritten note, as do many professionals. However, if the organization is stressing going green or conserving paper, then an email would be most effective. When determining if you should call to follow up with the position, first ask yourself what the interviewer said when you asked what will happen next. If they said they will contact you within a week and you have not heard from them, then it's okay to follow up. However, do not call them continuously or bother the staff. In conclusion, the job interview can make or break a job offer, so it is very important to present yourself professionally, come prepared, and follow up professionally. If you would like to visit with Career Services regarding preparing an interview, you can make an appointment by calling 479-788-7017 or by emailing us at careerservices@uafs.edu. Additional information can also be found at our website at www.uafortsmith.edu/career services.